And we are live. What's good, Charles and man? DL Saint. Welcome. I really want to know podcast, man. How y'all feeling out there? Happy Tuesday, man. Hope you guys are having a good day. We're having, everything good on this end. Everything is everything. Before I get started, man, shout out to brother Ronnie. We did that review. The first show we did yesterday, we were talking about Saint the Sinner, and someone sent the video to the content creator that we were reacting to. And I actually, after the show was over, I went to his Instagram, sent him a DM. But one of y'all out there watching sent him the video, and dude made a real cool comment. It was like, yo, like real humble dude, seems real cool. And we're going to try to work something out, guys. So I appreciate that, man. Thank y'all so much. Don DeMarco, to whoever did that. Don DeMarco. And we gonna mix it up, man. We're gonna, hopefully we're gonna do a show together, do some collaboration, man. I would definitely love to have a conversation with the brother. He did a show today, and he was talking about the hit piece, what we're about to talk about. It's kind of funny. It just kind of works out. But shout out to you guys, man. I appreciate y'all coming through. Appreciate the support. Appreciate all of the new subscribers, man. All the new subs. Thank y'all so much, man. Stay active, bro. Stay on me. Let me know what you want to see. And we're just gonna keep doing what we do over here, bro. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing. We're making a real push in 2026 to see, how far we could take this thing. Definitely still planning on doing in real life events. Definitely want to have something here in Tampa, trying to do something in Miami. I'll keep you guys posted. And that's what we're going to do as we continue to move forward. So do me a favor when you come in, man, make sure you hit that like on the way in. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Share all that good stuff that the algorithm needs to push our content. Man, I appreciate it. So we're going to talk about James Sexton. He called out Louis Theroux in this Manosphere hit piece. And I thought it was really, really good. And I just want to share it. I want y'all to see. We're going to break it down, man. Let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed, man. So we definitely got to talk about this Netflix hit piece. And I wonder how Louis Theroux pitched this thing to Netflix. He made the video. We've all seen the video. Calling this thing a documentary is a stretch. Saying that it's an in-depth look into the Manosphere, which it isn't. And I just don't have the words to describe exactly what went down. So I was watching James Sexton, and he has his podcast, Better Call Sexton. And James Sexton, I mean, he came into Providence with the White Underbelly interview show, and then he started popping around doing everybody's show, and now he started his own. He's a top tier attorney in New York. He specializes in divorce. Very respected. Knows what he's doing. And James Sexton is red pilled. And I said this a long time ago. Now, when he first hit the scene, I did a show like James Sexton, Michael Sertain, Stay Slick with Kit, Dr. Orion Taraban. I think the show was entitled like New Faces of the Red Pill, or New Faces of the Manosphere, something like that. And these guys, real talk, these guys are going to push this space into the mainstream. I've been calling this for a few years now. Like, hey man, this content, red pill content, the Manosphere is going it's going to go mainstream, and these are the guys that are going to get it there. Because now you can add to that list Professor Scott Galloway, which I talked about in that video I was just telling you guys about. There's so many new faces coming around, and the message has shifted. The core message with the red pill and the Manosphere, the MRA guys, that's never going to change. That's always going to be there. The core message is going to be there, but you have all these other offshoots, right? You had all these different colored pills, red pill, blue pill, purple pill, yeah, black pill, yeah, all these white pill. I didn't even know about that. They got so many pills. And there's a content creator out there called the Medium Man. He does some really good breakdowns on the red pill, on the black pill. I know he did red pill. I think he did red pill and blue pill and black pill so far. I believe that's what he did. But he says he's going to do a few more. That's going to be another leading voice in this space. So again, this space is going to get his opportunity to get into the spotlight, to get into the limelight, to be mainstream. The thing is, Louis Theroux kind of messed it up. It's going to be really hard for someone to pitch this to a studio and get the green light. And even if they do get the green light, if it's not one of the people I just mentioned, no one in the space is going to talk to him. They're not going to be able to get, like big names in this space to come talk to him, because everyone now is on the lookout. If someone comes and they say like, hey, I'm with Vice, or I'm with BBC, or I'm with Netflix or Amazon Prime or whoever, CBS, CNN, if they come, anybody who has a name in the space is going to be very leery. Like, man, I don't know. They're not going to want to rock with them. Like, I don't know, because we've seen all these different hit pieces. If they do another, if they greenlight another, like a real documentary, you have to go get like Cassie Jane, or Jay, however you pronounce her name. She did the original documentary, The Red Pill. I think that's something that could get greenlit. Her kind of doing a follow-up to The Red Pill, maybe a Red Pill Part 2 or whatever, a Red Pill looking back, because I don't know how long ago that was. Maybe it was over 10 years ago when she made this documentary. It would be good to, maybe been longer than that. It would be good for her to get greenlit and go around and do a documentary, just to see where the space has gone since she did the first one. If that got greenlit, yeah, she'll be able to talk to everyone in the space, the good, the bad, and the horrific. She will be able to talk to everyone, and that would be a hard-hitting documentary, something I would definitely watch, and I would wonder where it would go, because as a filmmaker, especially if you're talking documentaries, you can't go in as a filmmaker and a documentarian like, we're going to do this. This is the story I want. You have to let the story take you where it's going to take you. And you just have to, buckle yourself in and go along for the ride. So, it's going to be just a handful of people who could get funding to actually do a Red Pill documentary, a real one. And actually, I believe if they were to do it, like the next documentary you would see, they would probably go to James Sexton or Professor Scott Galloway or something like that. And like, okay, we're going to make you guys executive producers. That gives them the clout, that gives them the access into the space, and then these guys will come in. So just remember what I said, because we're going to listen to James Sexton here in a moment. Mandrill, what's good, bro? Good to see you. So I just think, it sucks. And when you and guys are in this space, and guys know it, like, for whatever reason, mainstream society do not want men getting together in male spaces and having these conversations. They don't want to see it. Why? Don't know. I have my theories, but I don't know what the reason is. I do not know why society is so deathly afraid of guys, regular men, getting together and talking about men stuff. I don't know. Why is it that they want to make this space and this community the boogeyman? Why is it like, okay, if you talk about male improvement, or you talk about, you're telling guys not to date single women, or you're telling guys why you shouldn't, if you're telling guys about how the family law system works, if you're telling guys that, hey, if you're in a relationship with a woman who has a child, that's not your biological child, the court can still hold you as the legal father, and they can just kind of put that on you. Guys are like, what? Why is it they don't want us to tell? And when you talk about that, especially with single moms, people are like, man, you saying you will never date a single mom? And you know what? Me, guys, I'll never say never, but that's not, I'm not even trying to get married. But to deal with a single mom, and I'm a single dad, like, my basic rule if I'm going to deal with a woman who has a child, and again, if she's a single mom, I'm a single dad, I'm looking at her child like, okay, is your child the same age as my child or older? If the answer is yes, I would probably do a little something. I would probably do a little something. But it's really hard to go into a situation as a guy and you're dealing with a woman who have kids and all that because it's just hard for you to get to that number one spot. There's just too many people in front of you. And that's how it should be. Like this woman has to take care of those children, her children. She has they have a father that's in the picture more than likely. You know, she's probably the patriarch. She's probably taking care of her parents, maybe, or other siblings. So, you know, if she has a house and she's doing well, like you walk into a situation where you're lucky to be like number 6, like right behind the pet dog. You know what I mean? And maybe just in front of the pet ferret because they don't like the ferret. Right. So, but again, it's like, am I telling you not to get involved in a situation like that? No, you do what you want to do. You're a grown ass man. I'm just telling you to look at it and weigh all the options. What is the best case scenario? What is the worst case scenario? Are you okay with that? If the answer is yes, then all right, then move out smartly. Keep going. Do you? If the answer is no, then don't do it. And if you're somewhere in between, like, I don't know, you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. That's what it boils down to. So, you know, when I talk to folks about this, I'm like, man, people really come after the red pill space. It's not as horrific as people want to make it out to be. And you just ask yourself why. Like, why is it that mainstream America, our society, does not want men to get together and have these conversations? I don't know the answer. Dr. B84 in the building. What's happening, man? Good to see you. So, but it's good that this space exists. And, you know, people ask me why I'm in this space. Like, I really want to try to help. And again, for me, if I could just help one guy, if I can keep one guy from finding himself in the family court system unprepared, right? If I could just help one guy do it, you know, most of what we're talking about is just prepare yourself for what could happen. Not necessarily that it will, like it's just on, you know, be prepared. If you find yourself in a situation, you already know what you're going to do. As opposed to walking into a family court situation, not understanding what's going on, thinking, oh man, this is, you know, we're all grown ups. We're going to be able to handle this as adults. Man, you're going to get wrecked. If you're going into a court system, bro, you better go in there with an attorney. And that's what we talk about over here. Do not do what I did. Do not get mauled in that system. It will destroy you. It will destroy you. 18 years, bro. And I'm actually working on a book that talks about the game most men were never taught. And I think that's like the working title of the book right now. The game you were never taught. And it's going to be about 10 chapters. It's probably going to be about 120 pages or so. It's not going to be a really deep read, but it's going to be, I'm hoping that it's informative and it gets you to think and it gets you just to check out the stuff that I'm saying in the book. And what I'm saying in the book is nothing new. It's everything that I have witnessed and learned since I've been down this red pill rabbit hole. I can't wait. Like we're almost done with it. Been working on this thing for a while now. You know, and you're just like, man, everybody's writing books. Yeah, why not? Right? Now get that information out there. So when you read Unplugged Alpha, when you read Women Deserve Less, Why Women Deserve Less, when you read The Rational Male or any of the books in that series, you know, when you read these books, you begin to see a theme. You see, it's like, okay. And not only do you see the theme, but you can go and research it on your own. Like go do your own research. Go down that hole and look and like, damn, these dudes are right. Go talk to some lawyers. And it's like, oh, what's it like in the family court system? Oh, this is the deal, bro. Wow. You know, go find out from the professionals who are in the system. They'll tell you like, yeah, bro, there's this thing called equitable estoppel, and the judge can make you be the legal parent of the child that you've been around. If the court deems that you've been acting as the father for X amount of time, and now your relationship is over, but you're the only father figure that child has ever known, therefore you are the legal father now, you're paying child support. That can happen. I'm not saying that it happens all the time. I'm not saying that. Just letting you know it can happen. And this is what you want to look for. That's all. That for me. That's what the red pill space is about. You want to learn how to talk to women and all that? Yeah, we can help you with that too. But again, my thing, if it's just one dude I can help, just one guy I can save going through that, that machine, then I'm happy, man. My mission accomplished. So that's it. That's my little pre-show rant, right? So let's get into this, man. We're about to watch this thing with James Sexton. Again, this is James Sexton basically calling out Louis Theroux and this Netflix Into the Manosphere thing. This is an amazing breakdown. And I'm so glad you guys are here, man. Check this out. I was blown away when I watched a little bit of this, man. We're about to watch this now. Let's get into it.
All right, Jim, the big documentary on Netflix that is all the talk right now is Into the Manosphere.
Yes, I suffered through it.
A British, I believe, author and host, Louis Theroux, went into the world of these red pill manosphere podcasters.
I'm going to actually stop you there. I think that, so to say that he went into the manosphere is kind of like saying, I went to the United States to sample restaurants in the United States. So I went to the Heart Attack Grill in Las Vegas, and I went to Hooters in Tennessee, and then I went to a hot dog stand in New York City, and now I've learned what you can learn about cuisine in the United States. No, you picked some deliberately ridiculous examples of something that are the most extreme versions in the absolutely worst possible way.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that as well. And it's very much on display in this doc. Yeah. But you almost have to realize, I'm so chronically online and I see all these characters. But if you're just an average person on Netflix, this is probably your first introduction.
People are going to watch this
concept.
And be like, oh my gosh, this is what the manosphere is. And look, this is the idea of the manosphere and the red pill as the boogeyman. It's the new thing. That's what adolescence was about. It's what all of these things are about. And we all everybody loves a good villain. And wouldn't it be great if it was just we could blame some movement? And, this is why people like me and Chris Williamson and Scott Galloway have to clear our throats and do land acknowledgements for 10 minutes every time we say anything even vaguely supportive of any aspect of masculinity, because otherwise we get accused of being red pill. And actually today on social media, somebody posted a thing saying, oh, Jim Sexton used to be good, but now he's red pill. Now he's red pill. And again, I know I didn't notice their presence and I didn't notice their absence. I'll be all right. But I have a fairly defined sense of self. My heart will go on without, Karen 42615. But
you guys see, it's just what we're talking about, man. Why is it that mainstream America is dead set against a community of men who are coming together to share information and try to figure things out? Why is it? And that same group, mainstream America, doesn't seem to care about male struggles. We know all the numbers. We know the self-deletion rates. We know what's going on out there in the economy with, men having trouble finding jobs, meaningful employment. We hear the stories, we hear the stories from mothers. I got 2 daughters and a son. My daughters are out there killing it, and my son is in the basement playing video games all day. And we don't know. I want to get him out there. I want to get him in this, out here being productive. I don't know what to do. You got so many guys struggling, and they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the real issues out here of men just quitting. They're just giving up. You know what? I'm just going to unplug. I don't want to deal with this no more. It's like black pill stuff. You don't want to talk about that. We need men in the workplace. If men check out completely in America, America folds, bro. Men, especially the invisible men that we're all talking about, these guys that most women don't see, these are the batteries that power our society. These are the guys that go out and build houses, run the wires, keep the electricity flowing, keep the plumbing, unclogged. These are the guys who come in and, do your tech support, hang drywall. These are the guys that dig ditches, the guys that are driving the trucks and, getting all of the septic tanks, emptying those things out. Guys who are fixing cars. These are the dudes that are driving trucks. If men checked out in America, America would fold. So why is it we're not doing anything about this? You know, this is what Scott Galloway talks about all the time, James Sexton all the time. And if you say anything that's like, yeah, these you know, some of these red pill guys, they know what they're talking about. They're bringing up some good topics. Like, you know, and then right away it's like, oh my God, you're red pill. You see it with rappers and stuff like that, you know, actors and whatever being interviewed. Someone was being interviewed on Club Shay Shannon Sharp's podcast. And then the guy was just talking about some basic uncomfortable truths about dating and talking about how women today, there are a lot of women out there who basically demand money from you, especially if they know you got it or they believe you got it. You need to take me shopping. You need to buy me this. You need to buy me that. Send me a cash app just so I can get ready to go out so you can take me to dinner and spend all this money. And the guy was like, man, that's crazy and blah, blah, blah. But then he was like, oh, hold on. I don't want to sound like I'm red pill. I don't want to sound like them red pill boys. It's like, bro, the truth is the truth, man. Pick whatever color you want to pick, man. If that's how the game is played, why can't I just tell you that's how the game is played right now? Why y'all got to get mad at me? They trying to say James Sexton is red pill. He used to be cool. And I like the way he handled that. He was like, yeah, whatever. Like Karen 646, whatever your name is. Like, bro, who are you? Right? It's just one of those things, man. We got educated Tyrone in the building. What's happening? Let's get back to it.
Look, you know, it's super easy to just call anyone who says anything about men red pill, but that's really not true. And if you're talking about the concept of like people talking about masculinity as a key issue, meaning a key issue to them, not it's the most important issue in the world. I don't know that masculinity or femininity are the most important issues in the world. We've got like 3 wars going on right now, all of which probably could merit our attention. 500,000 people have been killed in the last month in one of them. So I feel like we could say that there's more to talk about in the world than gender roles in the United States at the moment. 4,000 children die of starvation per hour. Somebody might say, hey, that's more important than how we're hurting each other's feelings online. But it seems to be a very popular villain right now, the Manosphere. If you want to talk about people who are talking about gender from an androcentric perspective, okay, meaning this is primarily from a men's perspective, you can break it into a bunch of different subcategories, just like you could feminism. You know, feminism was Gloria Steinem, Andrea Dworkin. They were 2 totally different forms of feminism. One was super anti-pornography. The other one was not. Like there's a lot going in terms of radicalist every movement. So fundamentally, the Manosphere, what he could have done was looked at the edges of the Manosphere or the red pill space. Like there are credible social scientists. There's Warren Farrell, PhD, who is a very credible scholar on issues related to men and masculinity. He wrote Father and Child Reunion. He wrote a bunch of other books about the male gender role. The Myth of Male Power is one of them. He was a man who in the 1970s and 1980s was appointed to the board of the National Organization of Women. Gloria Steinem, big fan, and blurbed his book, The Myth of Male Power. Again, a gender critical thinker, talking a lot about the male. You know, there are issues in how we address masculinity, issues that if it would be helpful to women in the world as well, and would be freeing to women the same way that feminism can be freeing to men when it frees us from rigid gender roles. But instead of looking at, okay, here's the intellectual fringe, and then over here we have someone like Andrew Tate or Sneeko or the people that
HS Tiki Taki.
Yeah, HS.
I mean, bro, and this is the thing. You're going to continue to see this message filter out into into the manos, into the mainstream. I got to get my terms straight in my own head. We've already seen this message on The View. You're going to continue to see this message on MSNBC. You're going to see it on CNN. You're going to see it on Fox. You're going to, because there's a lot of guys in the manosphere, the red pill world, that went MAGA and conservative, right? And a lot of my homeboys, I know a lot of people that did it. And I'm like, how you feeling right now, player? You know, man, it's like, man, you were right. Like, of course. That was not a tough call for me. That was an easy one. People are like, well, how did you know? I'm like, bro, you talking about Donald Trump? The man was a draft dodger, bro. You talking to a veteran of a foreign war. There's no way in hell I want him in charge of the military. No way in hell. Not that guy. It was a no-brainer for me. But that's not what we're here to talk about. you're going to continue to hear the mainstream talk about this. You're starting to hear local affiliates in the news bringing this stuff and talking about it. NPR is talking about it. And the thing is, it's a huge push on the blue pill side, on the plugged in beta side, the mainstream side, to just make this out to be evil. If you want to point your finger at the Manosphere and it's like, that's evil, I can't stand that group over there, that's what you're going to do. And you're going to look for the evil within. That's it. That's how you're going to do. But if you're going to be someone like me, who's like, nah, man, I can see the bad. I see that over there. That small percentage over there, there's something wrong with them boys. But over here, the vast majority over here, these are dudes over here asking questions. These are guys who want to become better men. They want to be the best version of themselves. They realize for whatever reason, women ain't even trying to talk to them. Women don't even see them. These guys like, man, how can I be down? Can someone teach me how to talk to these women? I don't know what I'm doing. That's what they trying to do, bro, right? They come over to us. Hey, man, teach me how to. Holla, 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 holla. Hey, all right, I can teach you how to do that. Right? And then when they go out there, bump their head a few times, they come back. Hey, man, this is what happened. How do I handle this? Okay, I can give you some pointers on how to do that. That's what most men are trying to do. They're trying to become. They're trying to pull themselves up into the top 20. I'm always talking about the 80-20 rule over here. And the only thing I mean by that is I just want to demonstrate that the vast majority of men are invisible to women. Women only see a small minority of men. And all the guys can get into that 20% and be seen. And there is no group of people in America, especially, that wants viable, strong, protective, put together men, successful men than women. Women want these dudes. They want them so bad. Keep talking about where all the good men at. They want them. Right? This is what women want. But at the same time, they go after the HS tiki-takis. Right? They go after tiki-taki. Right? They go after these dudes who got the money, got the flash, got some game, doing their thing. That's who they go after. They wind up getting in situations like, oh, I guess he's going to bang me and my friend tonight. Oh, I guess he ain't gonna call me. Like, and so you got this disconnect. And I think that the mainstream folks don't want to deal with what's going on in the manosphere because it's going to force them to face some very uncomfortable truths. And that's what they don't want to deal with. You will notice in that documentary, mockumentary, whatever you want to call it, that hit piece, they never, like Louis Theroux never covered or even asked about the tenets of the red pill, movement or the manosphere, what do you want to call it? They never really talked about it. And they did their best to cut and chop and edit, especially with Myron. And we're probably going to see that here, trying to make Myron look all kind of crazy. And it's like, dude, he has a girlfriend who's beautiful at the time, and she knows he's out here banging all these other chicks, but she's still here. And Angie actually spoke on all that too, guys. We're going to talk about that too in a little bit.
How do you create how do you take yourself seriously
like
making a documentary about HS tiki-taki?
And then there are people that are like somewhere between those things, right? Like you have what, we've referred to as the Gentlemanosphere, which is me and Chris Williamson and Scott Galloway. Then you have people that are a little closer to the traditional red pill, like the godfather of the red pill himself, Rollo Tomasi, who I consider a friend and a colleague, even though we very often openly disagree with each other about things. He spent a lot of airtime on his show criticizing my perspectives. I've occasionally criticized his perspectives. As he says it, whenever he criticizes me, iron sharpens iron. We can still have a friendship and disagree with each other about certain things. Andrew Wilson from The Crucible, who was recently on Joe Rogan and a few other shows, and his wife, Rachel Wilson, brilliant.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Andrew Wilson in the gentleman's sphere. Andrew Wilson is on that blood sports side. Like Andrew Wilson is, you got to put him in that same car with, Brian from whatever podcast, and which is where he spent a lot of his time talking about Andrew Wilson. You got to put him in that car with Myron. You got to put him in that car with Fugazi. You got to put him in that car with the wilder side, like the dudes who were like, 304, shut up and da. You can't, and this is no shade to Andrew Wilson. This dude is all about the blood sport aspect of this. You can't put him in the car with Scott Galloway and James Sexton and Orion Teraband and these dudes, because Chris Williamson, those are the right. Those are the dudes who are sitting back, they're gentlemen of the space. Andrew Wilson is, you know what I mean? He's a hitter in the space. You can't say, oh, and then like, you know, talking about his wife, like, you know, what they got going on. Like, and Andrew Wilson to tell you this, like, don't do what he does. Right? It's like, bro, like I just said at the top of this show, you talking about getting involved with a woman who has children, previous relationships. Like Andrew Wilson's current wife has a few baby daddies and some issues and lost a child, a grown up, not a grown up child, but a big kid. I ain't talking about like through, you know, like the, you know, stopping the pregnancy and nothing like that. Now the kid was growing up, you know, got into an accident and didn't survive the accident, you know, allegedly joyriding with a bad kid in the neighborhood or whatever. Meanwhile, while that was going on, the father of that child was trying to get the child away from mom because he feared that something might happen to his son. And sure enough, it did, which brings us back to the family court issue. But I would not use Andrew Wilson as an example of the gentleman's sphere. I wouldn't, you know, like I said, Andrew Wilson, he's in it for the blood sport. This AKA ladies in the building. What's good, sir? Good to see you.
Person. They're both really bright people. I disagree with them about a whole bunch of things, but we can agree on certain problems and that they exist. We might disagree on the solutions and how to go about it. We come from different faith backgrounds. We come from different life backgrounds. We come from different perspectives. But again, we have intelligent discourse. Mike Sartain, another very intelligent thought who does a lot of great thinking and writing about gender issues from a male perspective. You know, to go back to Rollo Tomasi, wrote a series of books called The Rational Male, which I think are some of the most intelligent books out there about male gender role and about traditional masculinity and femininity. Again, do I agree with everything he says in them? No. Do I agree? Do I think everything he says in it is written in the most artful, thoughtful way? No. Listen, anybody who talks online as much as I do, or Rollo has, or Mike has, or anybody has, you're going to have a few ill-placed words here and there. Trust me, you can find stuff to make anybody sound a little bit silly or a little bit sexist if you want to, and if you have ill intentions and you want to distort their message. But the fact that Louis Theroux deliberately picked 3 or 4 absolutely clownish examples and then presented it like it was somehow indicative of the entire men's movement, it's just disingenuous, it's dishonest, it's misleading. And I hate when someone who's pretending to be a neutral documentarian who, you know, in all of the press is talking about, oh, he has 3 sons and he did this because of his 3 sons and he's looking out for his 3 sons. Bullshit. This is the same grift as anybody. You're looking to get views. You're looking to get paid. You're not looking to change the world in positive ways. If you were, you would have put a more balanced message out there. You would have had at least one person on the show talking credibly about the masculine archetypes, talking about the male gender role. Why didn't you have somebody like Scott Galloway, who just wrote a book about this? Have him on the show. Have Chris Williamson. By the way, you were on Chris Williamson's show promoting the documentary after you've released it. Why didn't you have Chris on the thing before? He's been talking about this stuff for years. You could have any number of people, but instead you put in hyperbolic extreme examples that, again, make for really good TV. Also, by the way, the people that he picked are extremely young, and they're people that just, again, they're young people. Like, who among us didn't think some dumb shit when you were in your 20s and even in your 30s? Like,
boy, you can extend that to your 50s, bro. But he's absolutely right. Louis Theroux did this to make money. I mean, and this is what people in the comment section of his own, you know, promotional tour, like he's going around like Chris Williamson and wherever else he is. People in those comment sections saying you're accusing HS Tiki-Taki of going out here taking money when you're doing the exact same thing. You're giving the people the raw meat. And let's be real here. The people we're talking about are on the fringes. Like when you talk about mainstream media, mainstream America, just the mainstream in general, they have no idea what's going on over here in the Mano Swamp. None. They have no idea. Like, what is the red pill? What is blue pill? What are y'all talking about? Is it a new Matrix movie coming out? That's what the average person, most people have no idea what's going over here in these trenches. They have no idea of the drama that's raging over here in these trenches. So Louis Theroux threw some stuff out there for the left fringe who come over here and hate watch this stuff. Right. And he's like, and maybe, not maybe, I will definitely capture the manosphere. If I put anything out there that's labeled Manosphere, I know the Red Pill guys, the Manosphere guys are gonna watch it. And then I'm gonna get all of the hate watchers on the left are gonna come out and watch it. All the people who love Abba and Preach, and all the people who are over on the left. And all you gotta do is type this in, and the Manosphere, and you're gonna see all these people that are the blue pill folks out here talking about how crazy Myron looked. This HS Tiki Taki, like, who was that? Meanwhile, you got a whole generation or two of young guys who are like, yeah, that HS Tiki Taki guy, I want to work out like him. I want a Lamborghini like him. That guy, or he said, I'm just taking their money. I don't even care. They responsible for their own thing. I'm gonna be like that. So it's like, damn, you pushing the next 2-3 generations right over into the red pill, right over into the wildness, the craziness. You're not pushing them over here to DL Saint. You're not pushing them over there to Scott Galloway or Ryan Teraband or James Sexton. You're pushing them to the fringe, to these young kids, like real young kids. Some of our teenagers still living at home. So yeah, Theroux did exactly what he's accusing the red pill grifters of doing.
That's, and Louis Theroux is an adult like me. Like, he's probably close to my age, if not a little bit older. And by the way, there are so many ways you could frame masculinity and traditionally masculine activities. Like, have some people about Brazilian jiu-jitsu and why it's become so incredibly popular in the last 10 years. And it's still primarily a male-based activity, although there are a tremendous number of women now that really very much enjoy it and have been obviously part of the development of the sport all along. In terms of ratios, it still is more popular with men than women, but it's growing very much in popularity with women. But why not talk about some of the things out there that are positive masculinity that still are part of the manosphere? Again, this idea of the manosphere and making that the name for this villainous thing is just as bad as saying feminism. There's so much in the world of feminism, some of which is utterly toxic and very, very rigid in its gender definitions and very misandrist, and some of which is really about the liberation of all people from oppressive aspects of gender roles, and really is something that we would all do well to be quiet and listen to. And is made up of people that are thoughtful, talking shit, and all he did was focused on like 3 examples of absolutely extreme people that are just talking shit and part of like all kinds of grifts. So it really just isn't what it purports to be.
Well, he was doing exactly what those guys do, and that's try to make entertainment for the masses.
Yeah.
Like, these people are characters who have found a lane, found a grift that works, and they ratchet it up to 100.
But see, if and again, I'm gonna for your bingo cards out there for Better Call Sexton, Neil Postman, who was my mentor at NYU, his most popular work was a book called Amusing Ourselves to Death, Public Discourse in the Age of Television. It actually inspired Roger Waters to make an album called Amused to Death. But ultimately, what Neil was talking about in that book, which came out when television was becoming incredibly popular, was that when television is attempting to entertain you and admits that it's here to entertain you, it's not as dangerous. What's dangerous is when it's pretending to inform you, because it's not. The medium is the message. Like, television activity and conflict plays better on television. So the medium, television, is the message. It's going to lend itself not to intelligent, prolonged discourse. It's going to lend itself to quick cuts and action and crazy things. So if you have an hour and a half for a documentary, yes, of course, it's going to be more entertaining to put crazy ass people on the screen, instead of having intelligent people like Warren Farrell sitting in an office at the university where they teach, having a discussion about research on outcomes of mental health in young men or women.
And if you're going to do what Louis Theroux did, don't call it a documentary, or call it a mockumentary. Like, go, do the full on Borat thing. You know what I mean? Like, don't, play your character to the hilt, be crazy with it, and just let it be the funny, entertaining, silly thing that it is. And I'm not even pretending to say that this is a documentary and I'm trying to break into this space and show you what's going on and be, balanced and all that. That's my biggest problem with this particular piece. And Miss AKA lady, like, you're right. You're right. It's the extreme, and the extreme is always going to get you the money. It's just going to get you the money. right? I'm looking for that conversation that Sexton is talking about now. Like, let's get the leading scientists, man, the social scientists and the professors, put them on stage. Let me hear them say what they got to say. Let's see and hear the stats. And then let's have, back and forth from either side of this discussion. That's what I want to see. You're going to see the overlap. You're going to see like, okay, this is where we agree. And you're going to see that part where they're like, I don't agree. As a man, if you're watching this, if you can hear my voice, you're watching this now, you're watching this on Team Replay. First, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, send it to a friend, share it. But there's nothing wrong with masculinity. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with masculinity. Here in America, like we live in this bubble, and for the most part, we're protected. We don't have to deal with what a lot of people have to deal with in the world. The stuff we deal with is homegrown. And yeah, it could get kind of crazy, but like if you live in flyover country, there's people in the Dakotas, like North and South Dakota, Idaho, in the rural parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, and all that, right? Washington State. There are people who don't even lock their doors. Like you drive through the town, man, doors are wide open, man. The store ain't even locked. People go into the store when they need something. Oh, Billy ain't here in the store yet. Let me just let myself in, go get a thing of milk and leave the money on the counter or whatever. Leave out. Literally, there are places in America where people still would take a piece of paper like this and write IOU on it, and with your name on it. And they're like, oh yeah, Saint was in here, man. Looks like he, bought himself some cereal or something while we were closed. And I'm just gonna put it on his tab. There are people in America who still live like that today. Now to us, you're like, you must be crazy living in the city. You know what I mean? Like if you anywhere like around the urban jungles and stuff like that, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They leave their doors unlocked. That's something I can't even fathom. Even if I were there, and I were in places like I was in northern Michigan back in the 90s, and people didn't lock their doors. They're like, yeah, just go over to Jim's house. Jim's the house right there. Is Jim home? No, he ain't home. I ain't going in there. You crazy? Is somebody gonna see a black man going up in there? They're like, look, you the only black man up here right now. So what are you worried about? Everybody know you up here. Go on to Jim's house and go get that bucket so we can get this water and we can go fill up the radiator or whatever we were doing. The door is open. Just go on into Jim's house. His dog name is Bucky. Bucky's nice. Give Bucky a treat. The treats are right there by the door. They're living like this. That's people are living like that today in America. To me, foreign is I don't know what. Like, bro, everywhere you walk in my house, man, there's one of these in every room. It's like, it's just like I done seen so much of the bad side, but you gotta understand the bad that we endure in America is a very small percentage of the whole country because our country is so big. Now, compare that to what's going on in the Persian Gulf right now. Look at Dubai right now. Look at Bahrain right now. Look at the UAE right now. Look at Jordan right now. Look at Israel right now. Look at Iran right now. That whole region, right? You want to talk about smoke in the city. That whole region. We could be going through that. Look what happened in Ukraine. And when things like that happen, this is when masculinity becomes a thing. Ain't nan man over there dealing with, in these war zones, dealing with this stuff being called toxic right now. Not a single one. Not a single one on either side. I don't agree with this war. I think this is unnecessary. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie to you. I think it's bullshit. But there are a lot of brave men over there. Iranian men, Israeli men, American men and women over there. Right? They're dealing with this and they're stepping up. Ain't no such thing. Go over there and call some man toxic right now. Why he's over there with missiles falling, trying to dig you out of a broken up building. Like you trapped in some building. He's trying to dig you out of there. Call him toxic. See what happens. He'll start putting them bricks right back on top of you and going home. Right? You think when that guy goes home, you think he don't get himself a sandwich? You don't think because his wife, his significant other, right? If he's in a long-term relationship, ain't taking care of him, happy to see him. He's going home to see his kids. Like you got men over there doing men shit and protecting themselves. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what they're doing right now. Yeah, like they used to sell the Viper in the club. I remember those, bro. Yes. Yes, we had that, man. Protected by Viper. Stand back. Brother Ian's in the building. What's happening, fam? Like, it would be nice to live like that. Simpler times. Bro, you can move to places they live like that right now. There are places places in Alabama, there are places in Mississippi, places in the Carolinas, West Virginia, the rural parts, they live like that right now. I can't I can't go to sleep in a house that don't have the doors closed and locked, bro. I can't do that, man. I'd rather be outside. I'd rather be outside, man. I can't live like that. But again, it just shows you the different sides of America, and even at our worst, like with all the gun violence we have in this country and all that stuff that's going on in this country, it pales in comparison to what's going on pretty much, all over Africa. as Mandrill about Africa, like you see what's going on in the Persian Gulf, you see what's going on in Eastern Europe. Like America has it good, and we're sitting over here. We have it so good that our people can sit back and come up with a term, this toxic masculinity term, and sit back and say, men ain't shit, and shame on you for going out here trying to help men become men and become productive and become what we need. I just think I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy, but that's just how we live. Let's keep going.
Like, that's not as interesting. The Lincoln Douglas debates took place over a span of like 5 days. And Lincoln got up and talked for 3 hours. Then Frederick Douglass got up and talked for 3 hours. And then there was a rebuttal period. And people literally rode on horses and walked to watch this because they felt it was their civic duty to make an informed decision. Now we do things like televised debates where we go, how would you solve the conflict with Israel and Palestine? You have 30 seconds to answer. And the only intelligent answer would be, that is a problem and a conflict that has been gone on for so long and has such a myriad of causes and second order effects that even attempting to answer it in 30 seconds would be absolutely foolish. That's the only 30-second comment you could really make that makes sense. But instead saying, I believe life is precious. And that's all that anybody does now, is they just duck around and just find ways to not answer the question while seeming like they answered the question. And listen, as a trial lawyer, I'm a huge fan of people doing that. But what I will tell you is it doesn't make for good news. Like, you're watching that, just say, I'm watching some clowns. I'm watching the freak show. I'm watching the 3 people that Theroux decided, oh yeah, I'm going to put those 3 people up because they're absolute clowns, and I'm going to put them up and make them look silly. Don't think you actually watch something about the manosphere or the red pill space. That's not what you're seeing. You're seeing an extreme version of things. That's like saying, I watched a documentary about OnlyFans creators and I learned what I needed to know about the plight of women in the United States. That's absolutely.
He has a great point. He has a great point. And you can see how riled up he is. I really enjoy watching James Sexton's content. I love watching him being interviewed. If you guys have not seen that Flagrant episode when they had James Sexton on, that is a must see. You guys got to check that out. Go over to Flagrant podcast and just, put in James, or go into the search engine, James Sexton Flagrant, and watch it. I think it's over 2 hours. It's a great episode. And it's funny because he was talking to them about prenups and stuff like that. And they're like, we don't need no prenup. They joking about it. And then you look at what's going on with Akash Singh right now. It's like, oh boy. I mean, Akash has to be sitting there like, damn, I wish I got his prenup. Actually, you know what? I bet you Akash doesn't even care. He just wants that woman. He doesn't care how many bodies she has or what she's doing or what she does to him. He just wants her. He's one of those dudes who's going to complain about it and all that. Miss AKA lady, I don't agree with you on this. You can expose dudes. I want the crazy dudes, the freak show dudes. I want the wildcats out there with their message. People need to have that choice, man. It's kind of like Star Wars. You're gonna choose the light side of the force or the dark side of the force. All right, and you got to give these people options, man. You got to give them options and let them fall down and bump their head over there and come back. And like I told you, they ain't just women that run your pockets. Some of these dudes will run your pockets. I can't believe you cool with them. Why not? I'm cool with them. I ain't sending no money. I ain't take their classes. But boy, they throw hella parties. I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? They got the wild chicks out there, bro. I'm in there listening to what old girl was doing at band camp.
It'll be like this one time at band camp.
Them girls be, them the girls out there trying to holler at Clavicular and HS Tiki Taki. Right, them chicks. I had something to do for the night. I ain't paying them nothing. I'm letting them get the bottles. I'm letting them use their clout. I'm gonna come in here, get a couple drinks, whatever, snatch me one of these little chicks so she can tell me about band camp, and I'm going home. Ain't nobody tell you to get that money. So I want those people to be there. I want folks to have a choice on who they're gonna listen to. So I don't agree with you on that, but I get where you're coming from. You know what I mean? I definitely get where you're coming from.
Ridiculous. No, it's an incredibly small subsection. And by the way, it's still an oversimplification at that point. So this is not a documentary. It's entertainment. Don't think you're learning anything from it other than the fact that, you know, Louis Theroux was interested in making some money from Netflix. And God bless you, buddy. You got 3 sons to feed. All right, gang, I'm going to share something with you about a Sexton secret. And this is one of my secret weapons.
Hey, guys, real quick, pay attention to this commercial. If you use this particular product that he's pushing here, man, buy it from him, because I like James Sexton. And, you know, if you can legally purchase this product, please do so.
One of my secret weapons, first time, but it's just us talking, so I can say this to you. Products by Soul, Out of Office gummies. I have to tell you, Out of Office THC and CBD gummies, I have been using these for years. I have been a subscriber for years. We actually approached them and said, hey, can we advertise your products? And I was thrilled when the team at Soul, a family business, said, yeah, get involved, Sexton Show. So we're here with you now with an offer code we're going to tell you about in a second. Sexton, 30% off on your first order of Out of Office. And I'm telling you, once you try these, you're going to try them again and again and be a subscriber just like I've been for years. Out of Office THC CD gummies let you control your experience. They have the singles. These are great for me on a Saturday afternoon after it's been a long week and I just want to chill. 1.5 milligrams of THC, 15 milligrams of CBD. When I have a trial the next day and I need a good night's sleep and I want something that's really going to bring me down, I go with the doubles myself. These are 3 milligrams of THC, 30 milligrams of CBD. Sometimes I'll take 2 of these if I really need to get some good sleep. When I say to you, what's great about Out of Office is you can control your experience. They give you the tools to do that. You start low, you start slow, and you figure out exactly what it is. And I have to tell you, after years of using these, I know exactly which experience I want, exactly what the recipe is for me to get it. So check out Out of Office gummies. I really think you're going to love these. I know I absolutely do. Use offer code Sexton at the link below for 30% off of your first order.
And if you do partake, you know, like I said, if that's what you do and that's a product that you already currently use, go ahead and use this code and buy this product. You know what I mean? I'm retired now. I was an air traffic controller for over 20 years. I couldn't do anything like that. You know, I just couldn't. I have a hard time sleeping. I'm in a lot of pain. Like all the things I did in the military, I was a paratrooper. That's all catching up with me. It's hurting. I've talked to my doctors. I'm talking to doctors, and you know, we get to the point where if they suggest it, like if they say, "Hey, man, you know, this is cool," then I'll take it. If you're living in a state that hasn't quite legalized these products, then don't buy this product. I just want to throw that out there. Make sure you guys know the laws where you live. A lot of states are cool with this, but I think Trump just took them off of the highest category, list and put them on a different list. Somebody in the chat help me out with what I'm trying to say here. But I know sometimes I be sitting here like forgetting stuff, and y'all might be thinking, you know, Saints on one of them gummies now. I'm not. I'm just old. But let's get back to the video.
It does seem, though, like what you just said, I think the public is catching on to. I think early on, people were taking Andrew Tate and some of these guys seriously. Adults now know these are the circus freaks.
Yeah.
I think where people are concerned is these guys have a lot of young fans who see they're driving a Lamborghini. They say they make $5,000 a day and they these girls. And there are kids who are like, that's my hero. Yeah. And I think that's where people get really uneasy about the red pill. And
and look.
But before he even answers, man, before Sexton answers, I throw that right back in their face. You know, Professor Scott Galloway said this. Like, you guys are so worried about Andrew Tate and all these other dudes. Okay, mainstream America, what's your alternative? You got to put someone forward. If you want the young kids to not go to Andrew Tate with his Bugattis and the women and all that, you got to put someone forward. You got to give them an alternative. Go talk to some of these athletes, man. There's plenty of athletes out here who are straight edge and stuff like that, who, you know, are plugged in beta types. Go find one of them that has a rough enough edge that the young kids are going to listen to him like, oh yeah, dude, you know, that's a real one right there. That's a G. And he's saying Andrew Tate is lame. And, you know, Andrew Tate got a Bugatti, but this dude got 2 Bugattis and a jet. Right? I mean, that's how little kids look at stuff. You got to put something forward. You got to give an alternative. That's why I'm in this space. I want to be the old chill uncle that's like, yeah, I've been around. I did all that, bro. I've been out there, man. I've been in this battle. I've been in these trenches, and I got the scars to prove it. And I want to have a sensible conversation. They used to call my dad Sensible Don. He was like a talk show radio guy in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I want to have a sensible conversation with these guys. Like, yo, here's what it is. So that's what you got to provide. You're going to counter Andrew Tate. You just can't hit him with words. And Tate's a cool dude, man. He's a funny guy. He's a very respectful dude. Like when the cameras go off, he's just like, yeah, definitely someone I'll have a drink with. Are you kidding me? Right? But if you want to come after Tate, you got to offer something to these young people. And my thing is, and like I'll say that, and the second thing I'll say is like, well, why aren't these young men idolizing their own dad? What's going on in y'all house? That this young boy is looking for an example of masculinity outside the home. How come he ain't looking to you, Dad? And then, the guys just sit there with their head down, and the mom jumps up and starts saying all this blah, 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 blah stuff. You know what I mean? It's like they go off. They're mad at me. Like, I'm not in your house. Why are you mad at me? Did you hear what I said? I didn't hear any of it. You sound like the grown-ups on Charlie Brown right now. Want, 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 want. That's all I'm hearing. Right? And their kid laughing at me. And the answer is simple, man. In a lot of households today, the guys are just broken, man. There isn't an example of this type of masculinity. And again, that's another thing that mainstream America is not ready to talk about. That's another uncomfortable truth. Gotta let a man be a man.
I don't think that that's not a legitimate cause for concern. I raised 2 sons in the internet age, and I will tell you, yeah, it's frightening out there. It's frightening to know that these are people holding themselves up as role models. These are people, by the way, your children reach an age where they're less interested in what you have to tell them, and they're more interested in what their peers tell them is important. That's just the nature. That's been true since the beginning of time, where children eventually grow to a point where they want to be part of their peer group and they want to see what other people are doing and wearing and thinking. And that's what they start to, really lean towards and lean into. That's part of the middle school and high school years. Not everybody in their parenting journey has got there yet, but trust me, it's there. So what you have to try to hope is that you've instilled in them some basic logic and common sense and some critical thought, so they know that not all information is created equal. Look, guys, information has become a form of garbage. It comes at us from all directions, 24 hours a day, devoid of context, and all claiming to be the truth, some kind of objective truth. And in fact, all it is just an amalgam of points of view with one goal in mind: to colonize every single moment of your attention for the gain of people who don't care about you and want your money. So you really have to understand it's junk food. It is junk food for your brain. And again, I'm a fan of junk food. Just know that it's junk food and don't make it a staple of your diet. Make it something you eat on Saturday nights to celebrate the fact that the rest of the week you take good care of yourself and you feed yourself with nourishing things. Because I'm telling you, if you make this the main staple of your diet, this internet garbage, the main staple of your diet, you're going to die in a real way.
One of the big themes of this doc was the notion of one-sided monogamy. So this is Justin Waller explaining his one-way monogamous relationship to Louis Theroux.
James is cooking.
No, I'm going to get a lot of smoke for this. I always do. Everybody gets mad at me when they ask me about my relationship.
Are you saying you're not in a monogamous relationship?
One-sided monogamy? Yeah. Women don't want to sleep with other men when they love a man.
One-sided monogamy means what?
It means like, see, here we go. Here we go. Setting me up. The mother of my children, the woman that I'm with, she doesn't talk to other men.
So that little pause right there and the look that James Sexton was giving Jason Waller, that's his trademark. And he's trying to, he's like trying to do that. Well, this sounds stupid. But here's the thing. If there are a lot of men that think this is great. Now, okay, let me back it up. First of all, I think one of the myths of the manosphere is that every guy wants a rotation of like 10 baddies. Like every guy wants that. I'm not gonna say every guy wants it. It sounds great. Now, there might be times in the guy's life when they're like, man, that would be cool. Like maybe maybe go ahead and get that maybe twice a month or something like that, or maybe, you know what I mean, a couple times a year. But running a rotation is a headache. Dealing with all them women, you know, like Tyrone was saying, like, yeah, I've been in the trenches, I got my hands dirty. And I'm here to tell you that most guys that I have come across, especially in the Mano Swamp, they don't want multiple women. They want one woman. They want one woman that loves him, right? So he can, you know, he can he can be who he is around her and not have to worry about her using that against him. That's what guys want. They want a woman that's in their corner, right? Cool. Now, there are dudes out there who can have multiple women, and that's what they want to do, and they keep doing it, right? Justin is an example of that. Justin's making good money doing his thing, and he has a relationship set up right now with a woman who's like, yep, this is what we do. It's cool. So, yeah, she ain't messing around with nobody else. She's not sleeping with no other men. She's with him, and he's out there banging how many women that he wants to bang. He's not lying about it. He told her up front, if you want to be with me, this is how it's going to go. And she decided to do it. If you can get it, and that's what you want, more power to you. That's a red pill thing right there. But that is very hard to do. But there's a lot of people to do it. You look at Justin, and they're like, yeah, they say Justin is his net worth is somewhere in the $30 million range. That's a lot of money. You can do what you want. But there's a lot of dudes out here that ain't worth $30, and they running through chicks the same way. Same way. Only difference is the broke dudes, the girls are paying for everything. So it ain't really about the money, is it? It's all about game. It's all about frame. It's about how you establish yourself. And Miss AKA lady, yeah, they did call him the freak show, and I agree with it. Like, there are people out there, and to say that the guys that they talk to, like, where's the freak show comment? That's not a freak show or a science show. The guys that they brought on at Louis Theroux, here it is. The guys that Louis Theroux brought on there, he did it for a reason. And yeah, these are guys who were like in the fringes. It was so many other people he could have talked to. Again, got Justin Waller in here. The only reason Justin is in this documentary is because Justin was as close to Andrew Tate as Theroux could get. He didn't want to pay Andrew Tate the money he wanted for Andrew Tate to make an appearance in his documentary. So he got Justin, which is cool. I know Justin. I kicked it with him. I got his number. I can send him a message right now. It is what it is. He's, me and him, we cool. We have a mutual friend in common. One of my homeboys played football with him. I didn't know about Justin's upbringing, but you look at him like, I'm glad he's successful. And successful men have options, and they can get things that they want to get that aren't considered traditional. Good for him. If you can get it, good for you.
Stings, huh? You seem upset by it. You seem upset by it. People get so upset with me about this.
So what I'll say is the following. One, the dynamics of people's sexual relationships within the context of their marriage or committed relationship where they have children together is none of Louis Theroux's f***ing business, right? What he does in his bedroom, what he enjoys doing in his bedroom, as long as it's with consenting adults and doesn't scare the horses, I don't fucking care what he does. It's nobody's business, okay? So the idea of one-way monogamy that Justin Waller is describing in this, okay, if it is imposed on someone somehow, right? I don't know exactly how that would work. Like if he's somehow forced her into one-way monogamy, like break up with him, divorce him. Like I'm a divorce lawyer. Like my job is undoing unhappy relationships. So you can leave a person. And this is a very wealthy guy, by the way, by every metric. He spends a lot of time in the documentary, Louis Theroux, showing how much money this guy has. So the woman who has children with him could leave him and do quite well. If I was representing her, believe me, she'd walk out with a couple of those Lambos and a lot of that money. So, and a significant amount of child support. So this is all good stuff, right? So again, she's there for a reason. She's in the relationship for a reason. He talks about how he and his wife or spouse or whatever you want to call her, that they have, there was a period of time where they would have, in the bedroom, they'd invite women together into the bedroom and they would have threesomes and things like that. Okay. Again, this is nobody's business but this couple, okay? And they're putting it out there. If they want to put it out there, great. People can be as public with their relationships or as private as they want to be. Here's what I would say. There's a framing of this that he's intentionally using, one-way monogamy, to make it look like this is like The Handmaid's Tale and these women are with these men and they're forced to be with these men and they're forced into this. First of all, none of these women are forced to be with any of these men. They've made the choices that they've made with these men. And if ladies, I don't think it's that shocking. I think most men, they came home and said, I have decided I will no longer be monogamous with you, but you will remain monogamous to me. Then most women would be like, excellent, go yourself. Like that would just not happen. It wouldn't fly, right? And if a man came home and made that pronouncement and you said, okay, I'm willing to agree to that, that is your choice. You have the right to make that choice. Again, is it my choice? Is it a choice that other people might not support? Of course.
What you just described, there's actually a moment in the doc with Myron Gaines' girlfriend where she says exactly what you said. Yeah. He goes out with all these girls, but that's for one night, one time in the bedroom, but he comes home to me. Right. However, fast forward to 6 months when this documentary comes out, they have broken up.
Yep.
So there's a lot of talk about this, a lot of speculation about the breakup and, Angie doing her thing. Aber and Preach covered it. O'Shea, is that his name? O'Shea Duke Jackson, is that his name? He covers it all the time. Whenever you do something about Fresh and Fit, you're going to have a ton of views, especially Myron. And when all this went down, I was talking to Rich Cooper on his platform, I think it was last week, and I brought this part up, and I suggested to Rich Cooper, I said, hey, man, I don't think that she knew that the film crew was going to be there that day. Like the surprise look on her face, people talks about the surprise look, and they were like, oh, it's because of what they were talking about. I don't think that was the look of surprise for the questions you asking me. I think she did not know that the film crew was going to be there at that day at that given time. And I talked about it on this platform right away. I was like, man, I don't think she knew. Like you do not want to ambush people with a film crew from Netflix. Now, Rich Cooper didn't agree with me. He's like, come on, man, there's no way that she didn't know. Of course she knew. You just don't roll up with a crew from Netflix filming this documentary and you not know. And I'm like, oh man, I don't think she did. She is on the record, on video, is floating around out there in the YouTube trenches. And she said that. She's like, I didn't know they were going to be there. She signed a contract without thinking about it. Then she read the contract because she didn't want to be in the documentary. She signed a contract and they wouldn't release her from the contract, which is, again, another reason why ain't nobody going to mess with Louis Theroux or Vice or BBC or Netflix. And people, if you're out there and somebody's walking around with a film crew and they put a camera and a microphone in your face, don't sign the release. They got to get you to sign the release. Don't sign the release. She signed it. So she talked about that. She was upset. She did not want to be in this documentary, according to her. The video's out there. But yeah, I brought that up. I'm like, man, I don't think that she was that upset about their arrangement because she agreed to it. She agreed to be with a guy who said, this is how it's going to go. When I'm out here, I'm going to be banging other chicks. They talked it out. Whatever they came up with, they came up with. She didn't have a problem with that. But after, again, I was talking to Rich Cooper and he was like, nah, man, he embarrassed her. He put her on the spot. I think that had everything, a lot to do with it. Maybe that's why, she moved like the straw to break this camel back. And I was like, it might be something there. I was like, I agree with him. I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? I'll concede to that point. But to see that video, I'm like, she didn't know. And then the second thing she said was, she was like, yeah, he asked me all these questions. And I really got to thinking about my situation. And that's when I decided that I was going to break it off with Myron. Here's the thing. I will bet $1 to a donut. She had already made that decision. She was probably 85 to 95% there already. And this was just the last little bit to get her over the hump. It wasn't like everything is good. It's all like lollipops and candy canes. We're loving this situation. And this film crew comes in and all of a sudden, okay, I want out. It doesn't normally work that way. Women have made up their mind and have moved on beyond you months before they actually pull the trigger. And that's just been my experience. Everyone knows. Myron knows that. So Myron knows, like, once she decided she was telling him I'm out, he probably knew, like, all right, she already planned this a few months ago. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But let's watch this part.
As much as you're saying what you're saying makes sense and wouldn't it be great, is it just realistic in today's world that will work?
I really don't know if it'll work. I haven't seen, look, I'm the wrong person to ask because I am not someone who subscribes to that relationship model. I tend to be monogamous and I'm prone to monogamy. And I tend to think that that's a relationship permutation that makes sense. But again, I'm not shaming anybody who's in a non-monogamous permutation of relationship. The other thing that I would say is that, I think there are lots of reasons why relationships succeed and fail. So Myron's relationship may not have failed because of sexual issues related to monogamy. It could have been any number of other things. There's a lot of things going on in people's lives that don't have to do what they're doing when it comes to sex. The other thing I would say when it comes to these sexual relationships and the way that people choose their sexual dynamics is, again, as long as it's above board and honest with each other, it's not being imposed on anybody. There are 8 billion people in the world. You can choose any one of them as your potential partner. You don't have to stay with any particular one. And the scene where they're talking about, the idea that, yeah, of course he sleeps with those women, but then he comes home to me. I don't think that that's anything, avant-garde. I think the idea of a wife and a gourmand has been around. Like, there's this idea that people would have a fling. We all agree there's a difference between a dalliance and like a long-term affair. A dalliance might just be, yeah, this person had a sexual urge and they acted on it. Whether they should have or shouldn't have is between the two people in the relationship. But, that's different than someone saying, yeah, I want to leave my relationship because this person no longer satisfies me.
Well,
and again, in this space, especially like when men are having these conversations, I always tell a guy one thing. I mean, look, bro, if you're gonna do that, tell the women. Tell them. Don't be trying to be slick about it, man, and trying to be sliding around out here, gonna do this and that, you know what I mean? Slipping and sliding like you don't know what's happening, man. You better tell these women what you're doing so you ain't gotta worry about that. Don't lie about it. Let her choose. Tell her, this is what I'm gonna be doing. You my main. I want you to have my babies. I want to put a ring on your finger. All this is yours. But from time to time, I'm gonna be out here doing whatever it is I do. And I promise I'm not gonna X, Y, and Z. I'll work out the details. And if she's okay with it, great. But do not lie to her. Do not lie. French air's in the building. What's happening, man? Man, I only got one question for you. Any dogs in the house? Any dogs in the house? That's a high school thing, man. That's a Cincinnati Woodward High School thing, guys, in case y'all wondering. You know what I mean? But yeah, Ian, that's what she said, man. She said she was ambushed, man. It's out there. She's like, I didn't know. Not necessarily ambushed. This is what I think happened. And I don't know. I don't have any knowledge. You know what I mean? I don't know. This is what I think happened. I think she knew that the crew was coming. It was on the calendar for sure. I believe that she was probably told or led to believe it was at a different day or time. And she was trying to work her schedule around it. Like, oh, they're going to be here on Monday. I'm going to make sure I'm going to come through on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. Or if they're going to be here Monday at 3 p.m., I ain't going to get here until 8 or 9 or whatever, or as late as I can before the podcast goes. Because, she was helping out with the podcast. And, maybe Myron was like, oh, yeah, that's what we're doing. And at the last minute, Myron changed it, didn't tell her. She shows up, and then bam, the camera's here like, they ain't supposed to be here till tomorrow. What's going on, bro? And she just didn't leave. And Miss AKA, they like, man, she signed off on that. I wouldn't have, but I've been around the industry. Like I said, if someone's filming and you walk in and everything's going on and you have some sort of tie to the subject of the film crew, just, they can film as much as they want. And, hey, you can film as much as you want, but when they come over for that release, don't sign it. Don't sign the release. They got to get that release from you. If they don't have a release, they're not going to have you in that film. They're going to edit you out. She signed a release that say she signed some sort of contract. So, but guys, if you're going to go out here and you're going to have multiple women, tell them. Let them all agree to what's going on, especially your main. Let your main woman know this is the deal. The rest of them, you can just tell them like, yeah, I got a rotation. Here's what it is. You're not my wife. I have a wife and you're not her. And that's the deal. Like, and here's the thing. A lot of women out here, they choose to go after married men. That's what they gunning for. So, all right, just let her know like, yeah, I got a wife. It's all good. I'm going to call you and I got that itch that needs to be scratched. And it is what it is. Don't lie. Don't lie. That's all I tell the guys. Like, man, just don't lie. It ain't worth it. But what if she say no? Let her say no. Go get another one. Right? You got your man. Your man is on board, bro. As far as the, as far as the backup squad, it doesn't matter. You got the star of the show, man. They go to headliner right there, man. You worried about the backup singers? They're interchangeable. They're interchangeable. So just don't lie.
Wrap on this. I made a video about this documentary as well, and I said the same thing you did, that there are legitimate conversations to be had, but it's not with these guys.
Isn't it?
And I got a comment, someone saying, well, who is the right person to talk about these things? Would you ever, these guys you just talk, the voice of reason?
Yeah, it's just what I need. It's another job.
Because
look,
you would be the right guy to do that. You know,
I think that I happen to have a interesting relationship with the ecosystem of this. So I am friendly with people on the extreme side of the red pill space, and I am friendly with people on the extreme sides of the feminist space. I don't know a lot of people that have in the same month hung out with Will Tomasi, talked to Fresh and Fit, and hung out with Gloria Steinem.
You're the one. You're Neo, bro. You're the one.
I might be it. But what I will say is you could learn something from all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something about the same topic. And by the way, they're all human beings. They all have individual lived experience. They all have things that have informed their beliefs, both things that they learned and things that they studied, and also life experience that they went through. You know, in the documentary, one of the things Louis does very well is really talks about Justin Waller's childhood and his background, which is a very, very trauma-filled and difficult background. And, you know, Justin Waller is a very successful person, having come from the roots of what he came from. And the same can be said about a lot of people that are in these spaces. And so I think fundamentally, yeah, it would be great if somebody could take the time to do something thoughtful. I think Louis Theroux could have been that person. He could have done a thoughtful documentary on this. Here's the problem. The minute you say anything that is not right on the party line of the far of each thing, you're the bad guy. It's why I get pilloried now. And I have so many people saying, oh, Jim's red pill, Jim's red pill, Jim's red pill. Just dismissing any nuance of anything I have to say and putting me in the same category as, I guess, Andrew Tate. That's insane. It shows how wildly ignorant you are. But it's something that people do because we like to put people into little boxes rather than engage in good faith discussion and debate with them. It's easier. It's easier just to call someone a feminazi or call someone red pill than to engage in actual discourse with them about substantive arguments and the blind spots in their perspective and straw manning and steel manning the things they have to say. That requires intelligent discourse. It requires you to read a book once in a while. It requires that you actually engage in good faith debate and concede the possibility of your own error. But instead, what you could do is post your Instagram stories that someone's a red pill or someone's a feminazi. And that's a lot easier to do. It's a lot easier to do. It takes very low effort and it gets rewarded by lots of people saying, yes, queen, or saying, yeah, f- these bitches. And it's great. If you want our world to just continue to devolve into the unbelievable hellscape it's turning into, you are well on your way, ladies and gentlemen. Just keep knocking it out of the fucking park. That's going to do it for...
Yo, that was fire, guys. That was fire. Shout out to James Sexton. I really like the way this dude breaks it down. And I couldn't agree with him more. Right? I cannot agree with him more. There's a little something for everybody in this red pill space, man. The same thing for the feminist crew. Like, it's whatever you're looking for is enough out there. There's good and there's bad. The people have no idea how massive the Manosphere is, the red pill thing is. And there's a lot of people are like, you know, you don't get to claim that you're red pill or not, or you're in the Manosphere or not, right? People are going to put you in it. You can say all day, man, I'm red pill adjacent, I'm this and that, and people going to claim you. If they're consuming your content and they're getting value from it, they're going to talk about it. And then, like he said, people are going to come at you and like, oh, you're a red pill, bro. I thought you were cool and da. And it's like, what? Because I'm over here helping some men, because I understand that there are some people out here who can actually pull off this monogamy on one side, right? Just like James Sexton isn't knocking people who are doing this. I got a relationship that's open on my end and closed on hers. Just like he's not gonna knock that, I'm not gonna knock the dude who's like, yeah, me and my wife go out here. My wife goes out here and bangs all these dudes, and I hold the camera. Hey, man, if that's what you want to do, you know what I mean? If that's what you want to do, fine. I ain't gonna knock you for it. Swingers have been around. People been doing this roaming thing forever. You know what I mean? Yeah, real life is in the middle, and it's nuanced. I mean, I get you there, sis, 100%. But there's one more video I want to show you guys. But so I'm gonna try to see if I can type in there, and oh, I don't have to. Here it is. It's already up here. But so many people have the world worked out in such a way that it makes sense to them. Like, you got those people like, this is how the world works. There is no other way. All right. You got those folks. Then you got folks who are out there just, bro, they floating around like Forrest Gump said. They just floating around like a feather, just kind of roaming, Mr. Magoo their way into situations. You got them. And then you got folks, I put myself in the middle. I'm a guy that understands both. I'm kind of a variant. It's like, I understand, like, yeah, I'm structured. I try to do my thing, but there are times when I go out there and I just let it go. Let it do what it do. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we can get into. Right? So for those people who are out, as an air traffic controller, when I was doing my thing, there was a lot of folks who gave me these really great compliments, and they're like, man, I love how hard you worked. And, when you got here, I didn't think you were going to make it. This was going to be too much for you, but man, you really dug down and you worked really hard. And you went from being a guy that I thought had no chance of making it at this place because this place is so legendary and we're elite, to being one of the best controllers I've ever seen work. And bro, this is coming from people like that I thought wouldn't even watch me, let alone studying me like this. And I mean, I was just so humble, and I was like, man, I really appreciate that, man, because they pull you to the side, like, man, I really want you to know, this one of this Ed Smithers is one of the guys who, we called him one of the O's. He was like one of the OGs at my facility. Solid air traffic controller, pilot, Vietnam vet, he's like the straight laced run of the mill guy. Like, when you think, like that the average American man from his generation, I would see Ed. Really cool dude, and I didn't think he was paying attention to nothing. But when he retired at his retirement party, he pulled me to the side and he told me all that, and I was like, wow. And I had no idea. He was like, no, man, it's like, I'm so proud of you. And I was just like, whoa, this is so cool. Right? Because I put in the work. And I think that's how you need to be. I look at these guys who put in the work and they're trying to do their thing, and I just like, I want to just give them their flowers, as opposed to sitting back and like, you got to do it this way. I'm like, man, they doing it your way, bro. You ain't hurting nobody, are you? All right, cool. You know what I mean? Do it like that. Like somebody read between the lines. Somebody, and I think it was more of I think that played a role in it. But for me, that's the best way to win folks over. If they were racist going in, coming out, I could tell you that I changed all that. I changed all that. They got to see a dude they knew came from the hood. It wasn't no sugarcoating it, man. I ain't come from the burbs. I came from the hood. I came from the Midwest, man. I got there straight off the block. It's like, there's no way this guy's gonna make it. But I did, and I earned all their respect. And I would like to think that because of that hard work, they were forced to look at themselves and look at people who look like me, people who look like us differently. So I'm still so proud about that. But, in this red pill space, man, there are people out here doing good work. There's a guy right now I want y'all to see. All right? I want y'all to see this. So, again, this brother right here.
So recently there's been a new
This brother right here is probably, in my opinion, the number one OG in the red pill space. Now I'm talking about Brandon Carter. I think Brandon Carter right now is the number one OG in the red pill space. Like the story I just told you, how I came and was able to win people over. This brother has won me over. You look at where he came from and where he is now. How can you not be impressed? And I look forward to the day I get to shake that brother's hand and tell him what Ed Smithers told me, right? How proud I am, like just going back and looking at, his body of work over the past decade or so that I can see online and reading between the lines and knowing how he did what he did and what he's doing now. I just want to tip my hat to the brother, for real. Because a lot of us don't make it. But this video I want you guys to watch right here. This video, he ranks all of the guys that he considers the top tier dudes in the manosphere, in the red pill space right now. just so you guys can get an idea. Most of the guys on this, on his panel, I didn't even know. Some of the guys, it was a couple dudes on there I thought were different people. I was like, oh, that's dude. I thought he was that dude. But we'll watch this and then we'll wrap it up. But shout out to Brandon Carter.
Documentary on Netflix called Inside the Manosphere, and it focused on 4 creators: HS Tiki-Taki, his white friend Ed Tiki-Taki, Myron Gaines, one half of Fresh and Fit, my dog Justin Waller, and Sneeko. That's 5, but I'm looping the Tiki-Taki boys together. Here's the thing. There's a lot more creators who I feel like are in the manosphere. And when I say manosphere, I'm really talking about creators, internet personalities whose audience is primarily men. People men are listening to. You may have a different definition of manosphere, but that's who I talk about when I say the manosphere. And I got a bunch of these guys down here, balls, and we're going to rank them because not everybody is crazy, at least in my opinion. So here's this axis I made. I coded up this little app. On this axis, we have people who talk about gender and politics, people here who just talk about fitness and getting money. Over here, we talk about people who are controversial. At this axis, we have guys who just talk about regular shit. And we're going to rank these guys where they fall. These guys and this one lady, where they fall on the axis. I really felt like that documentary tried to make it seem like men are only watching shit that's controversial, shit that's edgy, or shit that they think is harmful. And there's a whole spectrum.
And he said, men are watching this. What they're saying about the manosphere, and they're only watching HS Tiki-Taki and Myron Gaines and Sneeko and Justin and who's the other one? I can't remember. But they're only watching these guys. When in fact, the people that were highlighted in that documentary, that hit piece, I would imagine that their core follower, their core base, median age is probably 14. And that's something I've been watching real closely, like on Fresh and Fit. I've been watching real closely. Like I'm looking at the chat, I'm watching like Myron Gaines accent online. I'm like, bro, it's a lot of young boys in there. And then those young boys came over. It was overlap from Sneeko. And like those are the guys that watch Zerka, those are the guys that watch Tiki-Taki. So I just kind of noticed it was like there was a break when it was like I would be watching a Fresh and Fit episode and I would personally have met like maybe half of the chat, and then probably 90% of the chat I was familiar with. You see them all the time. They'll be in my chat, they'll be in that chat. And it's like so that the median age was probably 24. But now I think that median age, especially with what Myron has going on, and this is no shade to Myron, it's just me making an observation, that age has gone down. I think that median age now is probably 13, 14 for Myron Gaines X. And then you got that overlap that comes over to Fresh and Fit, the Twitch guys, it's a younger, it's teenagers. Yeah, like brother, it's teenagers. Right? So let's keep going.
Of guys who give advice mainly directed as men. And I'm just going to map them out for you. So we got to start with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate talks about getting money, but I think he's more famous for gender and politics, right? He's not famous for his money and fitness takes. He's famous for women shouldn't vote or drive, right? The shit he says is not regular. It's very controversial, man. So we're going to put him way up here, the apex of this shit. Then there's someone like Joe Rogan, who has like a pretty male, almost all male fan base.
Yeah, Joe Rogan is red pill manosphere adjacent.
Joe Rogan is the reason why every white guy I know had got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu over the last 5 years. After Joe Rogan told y'all to start doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, y'all, aye, Captain. So I'm gonna say he's over there. And he talks about politics, but he doesn't really talk about like the gender shit. I don't think he's that controversial unless he's talking about vaccines or aliens. I feel like he's like kind of regular though. Am I right? I think I'm gonna put Joe Rogan right here. He talks about some politics shit or have some politicians on there, but that's not his thing. Then we got Clavicular. Now, Clavicular doesn't talk about money or fitness very much. He's super controversial. He's definitely at the top of the controversy shit. He doesn't talk about money, right? He does talk about gender shit. So I'm gonna put Clavicular over here in this quadrant. Again,
that Clavicular guy, man, I'm gonna be forced to do more videos and talk about this dude, man. Like this kid, this kid is the male equivalent of the young dumb blonde. You guys remember that? Well, you know, some of y'all might be too young to remember, but that's like the young dumb blonde stereotype. That's clavicular, bro. There is absolutely nothing inside that boy's head. Like between his ears, if you scream into one ear, you could probably hear your voice echoing around on the inside, and then it comes out the other side, bro. I'm telling you. And there are so many young men out there right now that want to be like this dude. You know what I mean? Shooting themselves up with all kind of drugs, smashing their face with blunt objects, bone smashing, you know, doing meth so you can get a sunken jaw look. And this is a guy who has absolutely nothing on his mind. So yeah, man, like, but he's famous for being dumb. My opinion. Let's keep going.
And this is the cancel quadrant. If you end up here, this is where you get canceled and or demonetized. Let's go with Jordan Peterson. He doesn't talk about money or fitness unless he's talking about that crab shit. I don't think he's very controversial, but he definitely talks about politics and gender shit. Maybe I'll put him like around right here. I think it's a good spot for him because he got fired from a job saying there's only 2 genders or some shit like that, you know? And I guess that was controversial. So we're going to put Justin in. Then we got Alex Hormozy. Alex Hormozy does not talk about gender or politics at all. He does talk about fitness and getting money. I don't think his shit is that controversial. I think we're going to put Alex Hormozy in the regular. Now, I think there's more people who are even more regular than him because he says some shit like about working hard that some people might call controversial. Alex is pretty regular. Let's talk about another.
I don't even know,
like,
dude. I don't know who that
Athlete
is.
Alex. So fitness and money, no gender, nobody. He's way over here. It's a good spot for him.
I don't know that
Let's
guy
go
either.
Sneeko.
I know
Sneeko
him.
said that the water is turning people trans in the documentary. I think that cements him firmly in this quadrant. Listen, I've drank a lot of water in my life. A lot of it was tap water. Never thought about turning my dick into a pussy. Never thought about it. Not once. Never crossed my mind. So I don't know what the water's like where Sneeko is. Chris Williams. Yo, I thought that him and Mike Thurston were the same person until I met Mike Thurston. I thought they were the same motherfucker, man. They are not. I feel like he toes the line over here, right? He doesn't get controversial. He's probably more regular than Joe Rogan. I'll put this motherfucker right. He be towing the line. Shit. Kevin Samuels.
Chris Williamson is on his way trying to be a C-lister, B-lister, A-lister, Hollywood. That's what he's doing. This is why he's doing his best to distance himself from the Manosphere and the red pill world. Although if you sit him down, turn the cameras off, he'll probably tell you, like, of course, I think he was a bouncer or he was in like working in nightclubs at some point in his life. I think he'll tell you, like, yeah, female dating, female nature and female mate selecting. He's seen it all. He knows the deal, but he's not going to want to say it because I believe he has his eyes set on possibly making a run at Hollywood. I mean, he has the looks. I mean, if he has the right agent, if he has the right management team, he might be able to get himself, into some feature films. He might be able to turn what he's doing into an acting career, or maybe get behind the camera and, get above the line and start doing some producing and stuff like that. And I think that's why he's trying his best to distance himself from the red pill. Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels.
Rest in peace. Kevin Samuels was definitely controversial. He's like, bitch, you too fat to get a good man. And he talked about the gender shit all the time. Not politics shit, but gender shit. And, calling bitches fat on his streams. That's pretty controversial. We're gonna put Kev over here. Rest in peace, Kev. We're gonna put Kevin over here. Now we got David Goggins. Who's gonna move the boats? He don't really talk about.
This dude right here, like, this is this dude was on some Andrew Tate lightweight. No, this dude was on that Wes Watson energy. Is that his name? What's the name of the dude who just got locked up? Was probably looking at doing a 30-piece. What's the name of the guy? He's on this list, as a matter of fact. We'll just wait till his name comes up. Anyway, Goggins is him before that dude was a thing. Goggins is just like, this dude is insane. Navy SEAL, I think he's Air Force PJ. I want to say he might be Army Green Beret. Like, this dude is gone. He just kept going through the hardest courses that the United States military had to offer just so he could say he did it. Crazy, always intense, again, with the cameras on, but he built the brand on it, man. Goggins. Never read any of his books. Jay Swans told me that his book is worth reading. One of those books is worth reading. I'll definitely check it out. Wes Watson, thank you. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. David Goggins he had that Wes Watson energy before Wes was a thing. Here's the thing. Goggins is an American warrior. He's a hitter. You know what I mean? This dude, he's a SEAL. He knows what he's doing. Wes Watson is just a dude who survives prison. He survived prison, and now he's going to go back to prison. Like I said, I think he's looking at a 30-piece. And Brother Ian, I didn't mean that disrespectfully. It's just that energy. I'm talking about the screaming energy. When Wes Watson first got out in Cali, when he first got into the male improvement space, that intensity, that's what I'm trying to compare. I'm like, I think that Goggins had that intensity way before Watson. Like, definitely gonna do with Sean Watson, man. Like, I'm looking at his charges. Man, I mean, bro, they stacking him up, man. I think he might be looking at a 30-piece, guys. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that soon.
Gender or politics at all. I don't know who he votes for. He talks about fitness, but in a crazy way. I think it is a little controversial. I didn't love his first book. I remember reading his first book. I kept thinking, why, nigga? Like, that's what I kept saying. There's one point in his first book, he was talking about he's supposed to just watch a race because he had some broken ass legs and he was just going to watch a race. Then he heard the gun. He wasn't trained for it. He just started running the race. And I kept thinking, all right, nigga, but why? And that's
right. Like, why? Man, Joe, appreciate that, man. I thought he was a PJ or something. Oh, he tried to get in the Delta selection twice and he didn't make it. Okay, that's crazy. Like, Delta selection ain't no joke. So, okay, that's what it was. I wouldn't go through Delta selection once. You go through it twice, man, that is crazy. But, hey, shout out to him, man. He was a SEAL, a tier 1 operator.
The whole time reading Can't Hurt Me. His second book, I think it was way better. And I started to understand his mentality more. It resonated with me. A lot of people disagree with me with that, but I'm gonna put him here. Talks about fitness, but it's pretty controversial. We got Myron Gaines.
You know what Myron's
one half of Fresh and Fit. And he'll talk about fitness and money, but let's be honest, Myron is over here. I can't put him as far as I'd like, but he's definitely over here. If I could move him over more, I would. Ironically, let's talk about Fresh. Fresh doesn't really talk about gender shit or politics shit that much. He might bring up some gender shit if Myron eggs him on, but I think he'll talk about getting money more than that. He'll say some wild shit about chicks, but I don't think he's as crazy as him. I gotta put him over here. He'll talk about he'll talk about some bitches and hoes and shit. Austin Dunham. Austin was like one of the first black looks maxing motherfuckers, and he initially was all about fitness. He doesn't talk about what women should do. He only talks about what men should do to get women. Like, it's more pickup, right? So I'm still putting him like closer over here, but it's controversial because anytime you're teaching guys how to get girls, I don't even think he's that controversial. Maybe Austin's like around here. Those of y'all don't know, when Austin first launched his first fitness program, a kid that I mentored named Miguel was partnering with him, and he was running the behind the scenes, the business part of it. And Miguel came up to me and said, man, I'm nervous about this. This is my first big client. This was when Austin was still in college. So I told Miguel, listen, man, I'm gonna help you out. And I was behind the scenes, like running the plays with Miguel. And I was actually running the Facebook ads for Austin. And he made a lot of money doing it. That launch was so successful, Austin never had to get a job. If you guys want to learn how you can grow your online fitness business too, I'm doing a free training live Sunday, March 29th at 2 p.m. where I'll show you how to make money using AI. I'm gonna show you how to use AI to grow your online fitness business. I'm gonna show you how to use AI to grow your following. I'm gonna show you how to use AI to actually get more clients, make more sales, and I'm gonna show you how to use AI, train your clients so they get great results. All right, it's gonna be 100% free. Click the link to register. You don't have to have a big following. You don't have to have a lot of experience, and you need to be certified, right? You just have to be willing to learn about all this shit and willing to take notes. And I'm gonna teach you the whole game for free. Click the link in the description. All right. Speaking of,
think about that, man. Like, again, shout out to Brandon Carter, man. He put on a lot of people. And I tell a lot of young guys are like, hey, man, this economy is crazy, man. It's getting hard to find work, getting hard to keep work. Got laid off here, got laid off there, man. I'm still doing my gig stuff, but what should I be doing? I'm like, real talk, man. Brandon Carter is doing this event where he teaches you how to build a fitness business. Like, man, but I don't want to be a fitness influencer. I don't want to build a fitness business. I'm like, that's fine. But he's teaching you how to use AI to build that business. You can extrapolate that knowledge into whatever business you want to build, but you're going to want to build your own business. Even if you're just going on sam.gov and trying to get government contracts, or you're going to try to become a contractor and maybe get some gigs on your own, go win some contracts, or go, maybe you're going to start your own little delivery service with your vehicle and you're going to get some contracts in your town or whatever. Brandon Carter is teaching you how to use AI so you can accomplish that goal. And he's doing it for free. And you look at it, he put Myron on, right? He put old boy, the Fit Fearless guy on. He put him on. Like, he said all the things he just said, like, he actually did it. And the people he helped are still successful to this day. Like, you might want to listen to how Brandon Carter is implementing AI to help start these businesses and do this thing. Like, got to think outside the box. This man is going to give you a free course on how to utilize AI to start your business and grow your business. And all you got to do is, okay, I'm going to take notes and see how to use AI and extrapolate. And he's basically going to tell you which AIs to use. I use two. I use ChatGPT and I use Claude. I'm here to tell you, they're both really good at what they do. I look at these AI platforms like the military. Like, people are always like, man, who's better, the Green Berets or the SEALs? And, the SEALs say they're the best and the Green Berets will say they're the best, just because, we get that pissing contest. But when you really look at it, they're both the best at what they do. They're both the best at what they do. And that's the bottom line. If you're dealing with something anywhere near water, you're going to be doing something like that, man. You definitely want to send the SEALs, although the Green Berets can do everything the SEALs can do. But if you got a situation where you got a small group of fighters and you want to force multiply, you want to take this small group of fighters and use them to overthrow the entire government, that's an A-team's job, right? So that's how I look at AI. ChatGPT is really good for certain things. If I want a description for a YouTube thing, or if I want a quick roundup on what's going on the news, or if I want some real quick information on like stats or whatever, just real surface level stuff, ChatGPT, man, boom, that's going to kick that stuff right up. Is real quick. Cool. But if I'm doing a project and I really need some editing help, like I'm working on a book right now, I'm using Claude AI for the book. Claude AI has already saved me so much money in editing fees, saved me so much money on production fees, because I could just do everything I need with that tool. It is amazing. And it's $20 a month. So the world has changed. You're going to have to be able to integrate AI into whatever it is you're doing. And that's what I tell these young guys, like, man, y'all got to get out here and learn everything you can about AI, watch every video you can. And here you have someone like Brandon Carter, successful, self-made man, probably worth millions, doing his thing. I definitely believe he says he's worth millions. He's a 7-figure guy. I believe him, doing his thing. If he's going to teach you for free how to utilize AI to start a business, you should absolutely take him up on that for free. He's already done a couple of these courses. He's probably working out the kinks for some program he's going to run later on that he's actually going to charge for. So you'll be a fool not to jump in there and get this information. So that's what it is. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. A Green Beret and an A-team, a 12-man team could come in and overthrow your country. You go to sleep in your country and you wake up right in some brand new country. That's what the Green Berets do. And they are really good at what they do. SEALs don't do that. SEALs do some other things, but they don't do that. But anyway, let's get back to the video.
Which is another guy, Tim Ferriss. Almost only guys watch this shit. He's kind of controversial because the 4-hour work week was at the time was super controversial, and he's working only 4 hours a week and everything. But he only talked about getting money. He never talked about this shit. So I'm gonna put him like right here. Some of the stuff he does is controversial, but it's not like a big deal. It's like he ain't getting canceled for it. So he's still below this line. I'm gonna put him right here. Then we got Abba and Preach.
Wow,
he's a Fresh and Fits ops.
Really?
Bizarro Fresh and Fit, right? The opposite of it. Like they don't like these guys. I don't know much about these guys. I haven't consumed a lot of their content. It's just their stuff shows up every time they talk shit about Fresh and Fit. But they seem like they don't talk about gender and politics. I don't think they talk about getting money and stuff. So I think they're probably over here, and they seem more regular, like less controversial than Fresh and Fit. So I'm gonna put them like around right here. It's all about this dude.
Yeah, you look at Abba and Preach. I would not consider Abba and Preach Red Pill or Manosphere at all. They don't really talk about helping dudes. Abba and Preach, they built a brand on just talking shit, and they bring up some good points. And I think that Abba and Preach was at one point early on. I think they were like the voice of reason. And Abba, one of them dudes used to be in comedy. I think they started in comedy. I don't think they were that successful. They're not in it now. But they're making, you know, a lot of money on YouTube. They have a huge following. And I think they came up as the voice of reason. And now they're just, you know, they out here just talking, they just talking their thing, bro, doing their thing. They're making money. Shout out to them. But I don't, you know, to say that they help men or they're about fitness or making money or anything like that. No, they're not in that space at all.
Andrew Wilson. He only talks about gender and politics. He's pretty controversial. It's getting crowded over here, man. I saw a clip of him talking about some shit, and this girl was like, listen, Andrew, your wife got 3 baby daddies or some shit. He said, whatever, you eat pussy or some shit. I found that shit funny, man. But he's always debating some hoe about something. Here's another guy, who the guy from the Whatever podcast.
Yeah, Brian. Brian's another opportunist, man. He's just out. He ain't really trying to help, man. He's just trying to make money. He saw what Fresh and Fit was doing. He used to be a big prank guy. He saw what Fresh and Fit was doing, so he just kind of moved into that space and took over. He put a lot of money behind it, brought a bunch of women in, and you know, let's face it, the dudes in the red pill world, they just want to see chicks. You got a bunch of chicks there talking their madness, and then you got, you know, people like Andrew Wilson on the other side of that. Like Mark Quest from Saint the Center, I think he went out there, man. You've had guys from The Wire, I forget which guy it was, went in there talking. And you know, he got in there and he rocked it out. But you know, Andrew Wilson was on Whatever podcast debating, you know, a quote unquote young feminist, and they were saying how, you know, men are just stronger than women and this and that, you know, just talking about, you know, biological truths, right? So they had a can of pickles and they're like, hey, why don't you open up this can of pickles, whatever it is? And she couldn't open the can of pickles, so they give it to Andrew Wilson and he couldn't get it open. You want to talk about a gotcha moment. He couldn't get it open. He winds up sliding it over to the Brian guy, and Brian opened it right away. And it was just one of those things where I was just watching it like this was unnecessary. But boy, you want to talk about making yourself look horrific. You know, and it's, you know, Andrew Wilson is not one of the buff guys out there with big muscles and this and that. He's the dude with the dad bod that's, you know, out here known for debating. And he's like this blood sport thing, you know, the Crucible is his platform. And, you know, the conservative side, they love him. But boy, he walked into a minefield on that one with the trying to get a gotcha moment on the girl who can't open the jar, and he couldn't open the jar either. That was just, it was a head shaking moment.
Or White, Fresh and Fit. He's right over here. I don't know where to put him, man. It's like he needs to be over here somewhere, but we're gonna put him on there. Man, this quadrant is about to get super crowded. Then we got Wes Watson. Now, Wes Watson does not talk about politics or gender stuff at all. It's all fitness to getting money. And
Wes Watson, y'all, right now, Wes Watson he has two major cases. One case has 4 or 5 different crimes involved having to do with assault and all this other kind of stuff. And the other one has like 6 or 7, I think. And it's, you got assault in there. You got like kidnapping in there. You got deadly threats in there. You got, bro. And when you run down the max on each count of these different crimes for the second thing, right, he has 2 things before the court, 2 things before the judge. The one thing, they're like, stay out of trouble. You out on bond. He didn't stay out of trouble. He got himself in some real trouble, got arrested, locked up, had to get arraigned on the new charges. And hey, y'all, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. I want y'all to see it because he looking at, like I said, he looking at a 30 piece, bro. A 30 piece. We'll talk more about this tomorrow.
He's super controversial. He's talking about going to prison and being in prison.
And the 30 piece means 30 years. He's looking at about 30 years in jail.
And then he's throwing up prison signs and shit. So I got to put him up here at the top. Right? There's a whole spectrum of manosphere type fellas. Are we going to put Justin Waller? He's controversial, but he doesn't really say anything crazy, does he? He talks about money, and I don't really hear him talk about what women should do. Mine would be like, yo, women should do this and shouldn't vote. Justin's not saying shit like that. I think I'm going to put him right over here. Maybe a little closer to Austin. Put him right up on Austin. Boss. I don't know if we're going to fit all these guys on. Jeff Nipper. Little Jeff.
I don't know.
He don't say nothing controversial. He is clean cut. I never heard him curse. Probably never will. And he's Canadian. We never met a controversial Canadian. Drake's the most controversial Canadian we ever going to come across. So I'm going to put him like right here. He talks about fitness only. Nothing controversial about this brother. Bradley Martin. Bradley be like towing the line a little bit, right? Like he kind of wants to get in there, it feels like, but he ain't really trying to get in there. But he ain't really making fitness content anymore, is he? Yeah, maybe you put all this together, you end up with Bradley Martin. Jocko, what is he? He's talking about like discipline, but it's kind of regular. Jocko's pretty regular. I think I'm put
Jocko's another SEAL that other SEALs be talking about. Apparently, Jocko's the kind of SEAL. If you were a Marine, from what they're saying, allegedly, that's not the SEAL that you want to be out there with, because he'll, just have you doing some wild shit. That's just what they were talking about. I don't know much about that. But I do know on the Army side, whenever I was on a mission, if you go down range or you doing something and Green Berets are there, bro, you good. You're golden. Man, we got SF in the building. SF is here. I mean, that was just one of those things like, yo, for real, we got SF here. Man, you're going to get the best medical treatment, man. You're going to get the best child, man. You're going to make your weapons going to be on point. You get the best ammo. Bro, you get the best training. Man, the Green Berets take care of soldiers. And I just assumed the SEALs did the same thing. But like I said, I heard a lot of things about Jocko. Don't know if it was true or not. Could have been haters out there doing their hate thing. But I mean, it is what it is.
Jocko over here, man. Elliot Holtz, one of my mentors when I was coming up. At first, he was all about fitness, right? He's gotten more controversial. I'll put him like right here. He's down to get controversial. Greg Doucette. Now, he only talks about fitness stuff, but he built his shit off controversy, like making videos about people. So I got to put him at the top. Those are his most popular videos when he's talking about, other people such as myself. John Zerka. This crazy motherfucker. We got to put him over here. You know what I'm saying? Rouge V. I know Rouge personally. Like, we used to be like actually pretty cool maybe like 10, 12 years ago when he used to just talk about eating girls. Something about being pickup leads you into like conservative Republican shit. That pipeline is so fucking weird to me. How motherfuckers are trying to fuck as many women as possible. And next thing you know, they're conservative Republicans talking about Christianity and family values. Like, how motherfuckers go from that to that blows my fucking mind. But that's what he did. He definitely got canceled. He's not regular. I'm just running out of room for these niggas over here. Yeah, he definitely got canceled. So he's got to go.
And Brandon's right, man. That's the craziest thing. These dudes be out here wilding, doing all this crazy stuff, and then next thing you know, they become hardcore conservatives. I don't know how that works either. I really don't know how that works, but I will tell you this, and I've said this before, and I'll say it a million times. When it comes to the Democrats and the Republicans, right, both parties get out there, and when they let their hair down, man, they get loose. But the Republicans, they get loose, bro. They get sick with it, man. I'm telling you, it really blew my mind to see it in person. Like, I thought you guys were all straight laced, you know what I mean, with the cross around your neck, and the Republicans be getting it in. You know what I'm saying? They getting it in. Just like big up to the chicks that flex the best, bro. For real, that's how the Republicans.
Tell what the freestyle I say.
You know what I have to tell them, say. Big up my girl on the side, cause them flex the best.
Because them Republican girls, they be flexing the best, bro.
Like up here or some shit, just pearly things. That girl,
she one of
who
them.
don't like women. She got canceled too. Anybody who gets canceled gotta go fucking pretty high on the controversy scale, right? So we'll put her on there. Andrew Schultz. He doesn't talk about money or fitness, and he does talk about politics. He's super regular, right? He doesn't talk about fitness or getting money. Yeah, somewhere like around here. Him and Myron hate each other. I don't know this dude, but ChatGPT said he should be included. I think his name is Hazmat or something, man. I don't know who he is. I think just cause I'm gonna put him like here or some shit. This is my man, Coach Greg. He's definitely over here. Yeah, we running out of room over here, guys. Rolo, Tomasi, yeah, we running out of space, man. Maybe they did have a point. MLD, it's kind of all he talk. I mean, he'll talk about getting some money sometimes too. Let's put him over here. Richard Cooper. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put him over here somewhere. I think around this area. This quadrant is getting filled up. Let's go with FitX Fearless. He doesn't really talk about what women should do. He talks about what guys should do. And he talks about getting money. He talks about fitness. So he's like right there with Austin. He probably comes off a little more controversial. He's kind of a looks max. I don't know. I feel like they're like right next to each other. Pause. Fun fact, I mentored Fresh for years, man. Helped him build his business and everything. If you guys want to learn how you can grow your online fitness business the way I help all FitX Fearless. The way I've helped Myron, a lot of people don't know this. I met Myron before he started the Fresh and Fit podcast, and he was still working for the government. He joined my program, My Ticket Trainer. He made enough money to not only quit his job, but he had a bunch of extra money to buy all the lights and the fancy cameras and equipment they needed for the Fresh and Fit podcast. And when I go on Fresh and Fit, he calls me his mentor. If you guys want to learn how to grow your online fitness business the same way they did, I'm doing a live training on March 29th, where I'll show you exactly how to use AI to grow your online fitness business. All right. The link is in the description. You don't want to miss out on this. All right. It's going to be free. I'm going to give you all the game. Then there's me. I mean, I might talk about politics, but when I talk about politics, I do it in a way where you don't really know who I voted for. and that's the goal. That's all deliberate. I definitely don't say nothing about what women should do. I don't think I'm that controversial. I know this because I ain't never been canceled, but I'm probably more controversial than someone like Jeff Nippert, right? Just because I be cursing and saying nigga and shit. And all I talk about is fitness and getting money. Like, that's it. So I'm going to put myself right here. I think this is pretty accurate where everyone.
Yo, y'all see all those people? And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many different viewpoints within the Mano Swamp, within the Red Pill world. So many. And there are new ones coming every single day. Like Brother Ronnie, we were reacting to one of his videos yesterday. You got him. You got what they call me. They call me Shape. He's out there doing this thing. You got Black Man Unfiltered doing their thing. A lot of their stuff is definitely Manosphere adjacent, Red Pill adjacent. You got over in UK, man. You got King Riches. You got Stay Slick with Kit. There's so many voices, and the thing is, there is so much overlap in their main themes. No matter where on the spectrum the guy is, it could be all the way on the right over there by Myron, it could be all the way on the left, by Aber and Preach. But the same themes are there, right? So this Manosphere Red Pill thing, it ain't going nowhere. Shout out again to Brandon Carter, and that's our show for today, man. Shout out to Brandon Carter, man. Shout out to James Sexton. James Sexton, I think, will probably definitely be one of the faces of the Red Pill thing in mainstream media. Professor Scott Galloway is going to be another. Michael Certain, he did an expose with one of the local news affiliates out west somewhere. I think it was a California news station. I think it was a SoCal news station. They were talking about Manosphere, and they were talking about his program, Man of Action. It was pretty good. It wasn't a hit piece. They legit wanted to come in there and find out what was going on. So you'll see Michael Certain out there, I think. And then eventually Chris Williamson will come back to he'll come back over to the Red Pill side. Once I really think he's trying to make a play in Hollywood. Like, once he's done that, I think he might inch his way back over. But this message ain't going nowhere, y'all. You know what I mean? It's not going anywhere. Absolutely. That was absolutely the biggest problem, right? JF, what's that? VW9LV. You're absolutely right about that, fam. It wasn't a real documentary. He wasn't. What I'm waiting for the project to get greenlit that is going to go and just talk to the men, follow some guys who have begun the journey, follow some guys who recently fell down the rabbit hole. So you can follow a guy who's been doing this a long time, like really been in the game. Like I said, talk to a Michael Certain. Start with him. Let him be one of the focal points. And then talk to a guy who's like maybe been in a Red Pill space for maybe a year or so, just like a regular dude who just went through a divorce. And you can still see what he's going through with the family law system. You can see what he's going through, like co-parenting and dealing with that, and how he's coping, and what comfort is he finding in a Red Pill space, or what is he looking for? Like, what is he trying to get out of it? What books are he reading? Like, what events are he going to? Like, what is he going to? And then you can have someone who just found a Red Pill space, like some dude, some younger guy who just got in, and now you got these 3 points of view, and you can kind of follow them, and then you can kind of split off, and maybe one of the guys bump into Brandon Carter, maybe one of the guys bump into Justin Wilder, maybe I would say, if you do that, get a fourth point of view, get like a George Gammon, get one of the finance, rebel capitalist, free capitalist, anti-central banking guys to talk to them. You know, it'll just lead you to more intriguing people that can really show you what's going on in the space and find out what people are getting out of it. You know, you can in that documentary. I think the best part of that documentary, in my opinion, is when they found the two dudes who were really fans of Justin Wilder, and they bumped into Justin, and then they went and found the guys, and the guys were working out, and the one dude was saying how he lost his brother to a self-deletion. His brother just, his brother checked out, couldn't make it. He was like, man, I was homeless. I was living in my car and was working. And he was like, I can't let depression beat me. He was like, depression ain't real. You just got to push through it. And, people like Justin really helps me keep focused, and they're there for me. And I thought that was if probably the only highlight of that documentary. And even then, they're trying to make these dudes look like weirdos, and you're showing the guys working out on the beach. You show the guys out here trying to stay fit. You got two dudes who are brothers in this game pushing one another so they can be successful. The guy was like, yeah, man, I was almost living in my car, but now I got a place and almost got enough money to buy my house. I think he was saying it's about to buy a house. And I'm like, boy, be careful buying that house right now, man. Just hold on to that money. If I saw a dude out, like, hold on to that money. Give it another 8 months or so, maybe 12 months. Because this time next year, it's going to be some real deals down here in Florida, man. Just hold on to that money right now. You're going to be able to get you some good stuff. But that, I did enjoy that part of the project. I wish it was more of stuff like that. But don't worry, that's going to come. That's going to come. So, hey, I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. We're done here. The producers of that documentary did exactly what the executive producers wanted to do. Brother Ian is saying that the producers of that documentary didn't take the process seriously. They came in with a biased eye, of course, because they wanted to make money, and they knew that this was going to be red pill. This is going to be red meat for the far left fringe that is anti-red pill. So they put out the product that they knew was going to make money. This was never going to be a real documentary. It was never going to force these tough questions on society. That's going to come, though. It's going to come at some point. Like at some point, because you can't have a documentary like this and not talk about paternity fraud. You can't have a documentary like this and not talk about how men are disproportionately hurt going through the family law system. When with respect to custody, with respect to custody payments. I didn't know this. I was doing some research for a book that I'm working on. And, you can have a man and woman who are equally yoked financially or whatever. And like, let's say the man is not he's not the custodial parent. And the woman in this case is not the custodial parent. Like, the father is. She can make the same amount of money, have the same type thing going on as the guy, but she's going to pay less in child support on average to him. It's almost a couple $1,000s less in child support. When you go run the numbers, it was crazy. It was crazy. Let me see if I can actually find, because I had the project up. Let me see if I can find it. Nah, I'm sorry. It's just it'll take me too long. I'm going through it now. It would take me too long to find it, but it was a disparity in the amount of child support ordered, where the number should have been the same, but the men tend to pay more in child support than the women are ordered to pay in similar situations. So if you have the conversation, these things are going to come up, and society isn't ready to tackle that, especially the paternity fraud stuff. Right? And then you got the guys who are out here paying child support for children that are not biologically theirs. Right? It's just so much going on in that family law trap, that family court trap. So, you're just going to have to dig into it, And I mean, think about the foodie dates and how many women are out here just, taking experiences from men. But I put that on the men. The men are willing to pay. If you got a dude who's willing to pay $50,000 a month to date some girl, how can I be mad at the girl? I can't. And that's one of the things in the red pills. Like, it's a lot of dudes are telling, like, they'll hold, guys are like, whose fault is it? And just hold up a mirror. It's your fault, bro. You in the situation you in because of something you did. Now, what we can do here is learn what's going on and then, help you figure out a way to mitigate this moving forward. But you're already in it. like you're already in the minefield. So what we're going to do is going to show you how to get down there, man, and get your bayonet out, man, and start probing the ground and see if you can find out where the next minefield is and mark it and then move on. Don't step on it. You're going to mark it for the guy coming up behind you so he doesn't step on it, right? So that's, mainstream America just isn't ready to have that conversation, but it's coming. It's coming soon. I think it's going to come within the next 2 years. You know what I mean, Brother Ian's like, but a lot of extreme channels are not helping the cause because they are looking for more clicks and trying to give, looking for more clicks than trying to give out. Yeah, substance. You're right. You're right. And you gotta look out for that. You got to look out for that. I tell people all the time, like, bro, you got to consume the meat and leave the bones behind. If you're dealing with someone and you can see the grift, there are grifters out there. If you can see the grift, man, just back on up. Don't deal with that. Stay focused on what you're doing. There's plenty of content creators out here who are really trying to help. And then there are plenty of content creators out here on the Manosphere side that are out here trying to get money. And it's up to you to choose, right? You can be a Jedi, right? Or you can be Vader and the Sith, bro. You can be that.
Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy.
You know what I mean? But it's so many good content creators out there. James Sexton, we just watched him, man. Outstanding content. This is Shaw, outstanding content. Dr. Orion Taraban, outstanding content. There's so many, go watch some of the, early years of Fresh and Fit, right? Year 1 and 2, and it's in the first half of year 3, solid content. Right? Can't go wrong. First year of Fresh and Fit, man. You can't go wrong. First couple 3 years. Rollo Tomasi, again, Michael Surtain and Rollo Tomasi, they're doing the Access Vegas thing, right? Definitely worth watching. They put out some really good information that can really help you. And then don't be afraid to, talk to people like me, talk to people out here, jump into the chats, ask your questions. Don't be afraid to ask. Listen to what they have to say and weigh it. It might be what you need to hear. It might be some bullshit. It might be something that doesn't even help you, in your situation. But don't be afraid to ask those questions, man. Don't be afraid to do it. And just know that there are people out here, there are dudes out here that will run your pockets just as fast as some of these chicks will. So just be careful. Like if you're looking at just straight player, no tracer, like you want that straight game, no chaser, that player stuff, check out A Dose of Game. I send people over there all the time, like, man, watch a couple of his videos, bro. Watch a couple of those. Matter of fact, we probably need to do one of those videos on this platform here pretty soon. Like watch Dose of Game and what he's talking about, man. He's giving you like real playerism. And sometimes that's what a guy needs a little nudge. Sometimes a guy needs the whole packet, man, because they don't have nothing. You get, it's like a brand new recruit right off the bus, man. You got to get them squared away. Like, all right, we got to show you everything. Right. So I still think that this is a great space and men can find the help that they need, and they're finding the help that they need. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Quote of the century. Like you are in a situation that you are in because of something that you did. Appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that though, but that's just how it is. The red pill in this manosphere is supposed to be about male accountability. All right. I guarantee, I tell you right now, I'm in the situation I'm in right now because of shit that I did. Simple as that. Simple as that. And I'm here now in front of this camera, sitting up here in my loft and, with all this stuff behind me, trying to get this message out because I want people to learn from my mistakes. That's what I want. Learn from my mistakes. Don't do what I did. I knew better. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. Hope you enjoyed it. What time is it? It's 9 o'clock. Yeah, I got to go. I haven't been sleeping right lately, so I am so tired right now. You guys have no idea how hard it is to keep my eyes open right now. Shout out to James Sexton, man. Shout out to the G, Brandon Carter, man, down there in Miami, man. Again, check out his free course on how to start a business using AI to help you do that. Check that out, guys. It's coming up in about 5 days. I gotta go. I'm down. See, you see how tired I am? I'm using my real name. You know what I mean? I'm not even using my YouTube name. That's how tired I am, man. I'm DL Saint. This is I Really Want to Know podcast. I'm about to go get me some sleep. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty. Darn, that's the end.
Thanks for watching. We really appreciate your support. And if you like that video, check out this one or maybe that one. We'll see you around. Peace.